In this lesson, we will look at the normal mode of operation for the ECAM system. As we saw before, different messages and system displays are presented, depending on the actual flight phase. The data processing is fully automatic, and as such does not require any additional crew action or selection. We will look first at the details on the left ECAM default page, the memo page. This will be the only page to appear on the left ECAM unless you have a failure. Then we will follow a normal flight and show you the 5 or 6 pages which will automatically appear on the right-hand display. The other 8 pages, which are selected manually in normal mode, will be covered in the next lesson. Finally, we will look at the cruise page in detail, also shown on the right display. This is not covered in any of the other chapters and is the only one which cannot be manually selected. Let's begin. The memo page acts as a reminder to the crew of functions or systems which are temporarily in use during normal operation. This is an example of the basic page, and it will be displayed automatically on the left ECAM when the aircraft has no system failures. The title Memo is always shown in green and underlined. On the title line, adjacent to Memo, the words Takeoff Inhibit or Landing Inhibit appear in magenta during the takeoff and landing inhibition phase. These messages indicate that all but the most urgent warning messages are inhibited during the crucial phases of takeoff and landing to avoid distracting the crew. Engine fire and smoke are the main warnings that will not be inhibited during takeoff and landing. The memo page lists items which are temporarily in use. Most messages are displayed in green. The only exception is Monitor Minimum N1, which is shown in cyan because you have to perform an action. This is valid on General Electric engine only. The ECAM system also sorts these items and displays them in order of importance. Select the forward arrow to see what happens to the messages when anti-ice is on. The anti-ice message appears above the other messages as it is more important. These and other memo messages will be covered in more detail in the relevant ATA chapter. At the bottom of the memo page there are 2 lines of permanent information. Select each item to find out more about it. This shows the centre of gravity, CG, of the aircraft. This is the current gross weight of the aircraft. Select each of the permanent information items to see what it is. This shows the total amount of fuel on board. This shows the total air temperature. If data for any of these items is not available, for instance if FMS input was not complete, the centre of gravity or gross weight values would be replaced with amber crosses. The permanent data is always shown on the memo page, but some items are also shown on the right ECAM fuel page. We'll look at some right displays next. As well as inhibiting most warning messages, the ECAM automatically controls what is displayed on the right-hand display during these crucial takeoff and landing phases. As soon as electrical power is available, the door page appears on the right-hand ECAM. This allows you to confirm, on one screen, the status of the doors and slides before engine start and taxi. As with all automatically called pages, the title will be green. The title will be white when the page is manually called. The door page automatically disappears when the APU is switched on or the engines are started. On the aircraft picture, select the APU area to indicate an APU start. As we saw before, the APU page automatically appears at the beginning of the APU start sequence, so you can monitor APU start. The APU page will remain on until the APU RPM reaches greater than 95% for approximately 15 seconds, or an engine is started. Notice also the message APU running appears on the memo page. The engine start page comes on at the beginning of the engine start sequence, so that you can monitor secondary engine parameters during start. The wheel page appears as soon as the second engine has been started and stays up to takeoff. The engine page will replace whatever else is displayed as soon as takeoff power is applied. Also, notice any change on the memo page when takeoff power is applied. Apply takeoff power now by moving the throttles forward. The engine page appears, and all non-essential warnings are inhibited up to 1,000 feet as soon as takeoff power is applied. The engine page stays on until slats retraction. The takeoff inhibit prompt will disappear as soon as 1,000 feet AGL is passed. The cruise page comes on as soon as the slats are retracted or climb thrust is set. We'll look at this in more detail in the next topic. The cruise page remains as the automatic selection until the landing lever is down. However, you should periodically monitor the other systems during cruise. We'll show you how in the next lesson. Extend the landing gear to see what ECAM page is displayed. The wheel page remains displayed throughout the landing phase. The landing inhibit prompt comes on from 1,000 feet AGL down to taxi speed. This is to indicate that all but the most essential warnings are now inhibited. Finally, shut down the first engine to see the last automatic page shown on the right display. The door page appears when the first engine is shut down and remains displayed until electrical power is switched off. The cruise page is the default page of the ECAM system from slats retraction to landing gear extension. It cannot be selected manually. The page consists of information from the engine page and the air conditioning page, and cabin altitude from the cabin pressure page. The static air temperature indication appears on the cruise page only. It is measured by 2 probes under the nose of the aircraft. Now for some questions.